Okay, so, motorcycles,
What?
right? It's like you think about motorcycles.
Freedom rebellion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The open road, wind in your hair. But what if I told you there's this whole side of motorcycle culture that's all about service
Mm.
and education?
Really?
Yeah, no kidding. So I was reading this article. It's about this thing called the American Legion Rider College. It's down in Virginia.
Bar college for motorcycle riders.
I know, right? You'd think just knowing how to ride would be enough, but so this was the first one ever, and
First ever. Wow.
yeah, and it sounds like it was quite the event. The article talks about how they had all these folks down there at this American Legion post 75 in Gloucester, Virginia. They had, let's see, riders, obviously, but also some post commanders, even people from the Sons of the American Legion and the auxiliary, too.
Interesting. So a real mix of people. It sounds like more than just a training session.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And get this, the article quotes Randy BB Gunn.
Great name.
I know, right? I'd want to ride a motorcycle with a name like that.
Mhm.
Anyway, he's the Virginia State Director for the American Legion Riders,
Mhm.
and he says this whole thing, this college, it wasn't just about the riders. They wanted everyone in the whole Legion family to understand what the riders do, what they bring to the table.
I see. So it's about raising awareness within the organization, building those internal bridges. Really smart, actually. If you want people to appreciate what you do, sometimes you've got to show them.
Exactly. And they weren't messing around with the education part. Like, this wasn't just a weekend of, riding around in formation. The article mentions they had classes on safety, regulations, the history of the American Legion Riders,
Ah,
even leadership training.
wow. So they really went all out. What I find interesting is the combination there. You've got the practical skills, the safety and regulations, but then you've also got that element of history and leadership. It's like they're trying to instill a sense of legacy, a deeper purpose. I've seen other organizations, like professional groups, adopt a similar approach, blending the hands-on with the bigger picture.
Right. It's like, imagine a bunch of, veteran bikers sitting around in the classroom.
Chuckles.
But seriously, the community service aspect really comes through in this article, too.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the American Legion Riders' identity, from what I understand.
Absolutely. And they quote Mark Grappin. He's their adjutant and chaplain in Virginia,
Hmm.
basically one of the guys in charge. And he says that this kind of training, it helps everyone get on the same page, especially
Okay.
when it comes to safety, which is obviously super important when you're dealing with motorcycles.
Makes sense. Whether you're talking about riding motorcycles or, frankly, any other field where people are working together, that shared knowledge base and those shared safety protocols are crucial.
Totally. And from what they're saying, it seems like this event really struck a chord with the folks who were there. The article mentions this new recruit, Aaron Babcock, and how blown away he was by the history of the ALR and just hearing the stories of his fellow veterans.
There's something powerful about that shared experience, that camaraderie.
Right. And there's another quote here. This one's from Michael Hill. He's the ALR Eastern Region Director. And he says, and I quote, "It's about the knowledge and connections we build here that will help us better serve our communities and support our fellow veterans."
I love that. Knowledge A&D connection. It speaks to the idea that this wasn't just a course or a training, but a real bonding experience, something that fostered a sense of community and shared purpose.
For sure. And honestly, reading this, it feels like this whole American Legion Rider College thing, it could be a real turning point.
Yeah.
A sign that they're moving towards this more structured educational approach, which could have a huge impact down the line.
Absolutely. It begs the question, though. What does it mean for other organizations to invest in their members in this way? Could this model be replicated, in different sectors, different fields?
That's something to think about for sure.